still say, at any age, young or old, it's never too late or too early to really start asking questions about computer science and getting into it. What really got me started in computer science? Well, I've always been interested in computer science ever since, a very early age. I can remember when I was a little kid, I was always interested in how my PlayStation worked, and to a lot of my parents' dismay, it definitely took apart more consoles than I could count, and just to really see what the insides of what they look like. But I didn't really start getting into computer science and coding until about middle school. And that's when I took my first video game design class. They were offering it, and I had no idea about video game design at that point. I had no idea about code or C# or Java or any of the other codes, but I really did have a great mentor. My teacher, Mr. Peters, was definitely very encouraging to me, and he showed me just a whole new world of what I could do with coding and with design. And that was when I built my first video game, and it was similar to Galaga, but just not with rocket ships. I think it was with food, and it was very food themed, like different kinds of fruit that you would shoot at enemies and things like that. So that was the beginning of it. And just in middle school, I was more curious about that as well, and that's when MySpace started coming around. And I did a little bit of HTML and CSS to make my MySpace page look super cool, and just updated things like that. And so that's really where I got my start in computer science. But it took me a while to actually realize that that was a career. I grew up in a lower class minority family, and they really didn't think much about computers. They didn't really think much about computer science. It was more of a trade type work, and so they definitely did push me to trade school, which I loved. I was a mechanic for a long time, auto technician. Worked with electronics a lot in cars and things like that, and I definitely have the knowledge for it, but I did not have the skill set to be as good as a mechanic as I could have been. And luckily I had a great boss at the time, and I would always help him with computer things and processing just different things, and help him update his computer for the latest diagnostic software. That's when it really took off. That's when he kind of sat me down one day and said, "Hey, I noticed that you have difficulty, working on cars, but it seems like computers comes really easy to you. Have you ever thought about going into, kind of work, as in some type of computer sense?" And I was like, you know what? I never really thought about that. And so I talked to my girlfriend, now wife, and she said, you know what? You should really go for it. Go for, go to school and see what happens. And so I went to school, and you know what? I definitely loved it. My freshman year of school, I was introduced to MLH, Major League Hacking, and fell in love with it the first moment. It was a local hackathon on Local Hack Day. That was my first one that I went to, and I met just a great community of coders, of hackers there, and they really just brought me in, and they really took me in, and really encouraged me to go after things that I was interested in, things that I loved, and just kind of look at really programming and coding. And so that's what really brought me full circle into the world of computer science, and I've been in love with it ever since. And I've loved the job that I work now. I work for a city, and I do a lot of their programming for their website, and a lot of the development on the back end. I greatly enjoy it. The thing I would tell my younger self would be, don't be afraid to explore, and don't be afraid to ask questions where you don't know. I think that was one of the things that really hindered me from going after it earlier was I didn't know much, and I didn't want to appear like I didn't know much. Whatever fears I had, I felt like I wasn't good enough to be in that circle, and the hints of it that I did get, I didn't really push myself to go further. And I think if I did push myself a little bit more and ask a little bit more questions and kind of sought out, different people already in that environment, already in the computer science field, I think I would have caught on a lot earlier and would have started my career a lot earlier. In that, I'm in my late 20s now, but I still say, at any age, young or old, it's never too late or too early to really start asking questions about computer science and getting into it. And don't ever feel like you need to know more than what you already know now, because there's just a bunch of people that will encourage you, that will help point you to resources where you can start learning, and you may just find things about yourself that you didn't even know. The thing I would tell anyone kind of looking into the computer science field, and anyone that really wants to explore it but just kind of feels a little bit of hindrance, is I would say, there's there's a lot of diversity within computer science. You can go into cybersecurity, you can go into programming, you can go into logistics, you can go into system architect, you can do a lot of things. And there's a lot of different talents. If you are a more creative type, there's always web design. And if you're more logical, there's always system architect and things like that. And so computer science definitely has career fields for every single type of personality, every single type of person. And so if you feel that, you love technology enough to want to do things with it, I would definitely encourage you to go into the computer science field. And, computers have touched every other field that even other interests that you have, whether it's, agricultural or marine, biology, whether it's space, whether it's finance, computers have touched every single area of our lives. And so if you are interested at all in computer science, I would definitely encourage you to, look into it. Look into your hobbies, your interests, and see how that ties into the world of computers. Why do I think there should be diversity in computer science? Well, I think a lot of people have different perspectives, different ideas, different thought processes. And, when you combine those all together in a very encouraging and welcoming environment, you get immense innovation. You get a lot of people coming up with grand ideas and actually implementing those ideas. Because I feel a lot of times there's different groups that have these great ideas but feel like they can't do anything with them. And so when you bring everyone together, you definitely get a lot more encouragement and a lot of, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can build this out. And yes, we can innovate. And so I would definitely encourage more diversity in the field of computer science, because there's just so many different backgrounds and so many different personalities that you never know what you're going to get, with the group of people that are, in a specific kind of think tank or things like that. So. What I think about .tech's campaign here, I think it's great. I think it's a wonderful idea that they're really coming out and really encouraging people to join the field of computer science. I think that's definitely one thing that I would have liked to see growing up is more companies encouraging people to just even take a look, because for me, I didn't know where to look, and I didn't know that there was this many fields within computer science. And so I think just having that knowledge in the back of my head would have definitely created an itch that I need to scratch, and help me dig deeper. And I can only imagine there's so many other people out there that may not know of everything that's going on within the computer science community and within computers. And they may find that they like it and that they are good at it, and that they can really make a difference within this field. And so I think it's great that .Tech is really doing this campaign, and I think it's really great that they want to encourage others to join within the field of computers.